Good morning, everybody, or good evening, or good afternoon, wherever you may be. This is Allie with Team Stonehearth, and this is Stonehearth Dev Stream number 224, Tapestries for Shops, continued. Oh, there we go. I got lost. So many buttons. I pushed the right one though, because I think we're looking at my workspace now, and not at something completely different. What is this? This is mine. This is going away. We don't need it. So welcome to the stream. So last Wednesday, we spent an amount of time coming up with some better signage for our desert settlers and their fancy new shops, because we noticed some time ago, actually, when we were actually working on some of the shop templates themselves on the stream, that the only signs available to mark the shops as shops were all made by the carpenter, and that doesn't work so well when you're playing a Rise Children game. So these are the carpenter signs, and they're all very lovely and cute. So what we've decided to do was we're going to use this as an opportunity to both create something that's like a little bit more fits the fantasy of our desert biome, and also as an opportunity to expand what our weaver contributes just a little bit. Because the weaver already makes a tapestry. It's this guy here. It is scenic and beautiful. When I zoom out, I like to pretend that it's a picture of a dinosaur. But this is a great opportunity to have the weaver make some super cool things that are very, very in tune with our space. Cool. All right. Good morning, Flipper02, TPATM, Mally, and Syncrify. Welcome and thank you for joining us today. Cool. Alrighty. So another thing that I really like about this project is it gives us a chance to also continue to explore kind of like the visual language and icon style of Riot's Children. So the colors we're using and the shapes we're using and the symbols we're using are things that I'm hoping are like sticky and help again continue to flesh out the fantasy of this biome. Good morning, Vinyl Rabbit and Sarandaries. I hope everyone is doing super well today. Oh, that's right. Cool. We had indeed split these out. So let me, this was our bright purple guy over here. We're gonna move this over here. Now, I do believe when we left off, we had decided that these kind of like cream and purple brown and terracotta color palette was the way that we wanted to go. But if I am like insane and out of my mind about that, please let me know. Good morning, ZG Elegal. That kind of, I'm not really sure. Oh, thank you, Sarandaries. But yes, so ZG Elegal is asking about the origins of Stonehearth a little bit, and asking to confirm. They are saying, I read it is now under Riot Games, which, yes it is. We are. Goodness. Cool. So let's go ahead and duplicate this guy over here. And now we have 2 Potter's signs, because 2 are better than 1. This is all we need in life. Just endless signs for the Potter's Workshop. Our town will be filled with them. We will be known for fine pottery the world over. What shall we do next? How about Mason? Come here, you. Because after all, it would get a little boring if the only thing we had shops for were, what do we got there? Green means Y? I guessed right. Well, I didn't guess, I actually looked that time. Sometimes I just push the buttons until it turns the way I want because I'm lazy, even though that takes less time, or more time. Sarandaries is saying, I think there was a discussion going on about them being the fine versions of signs, and the more icon-based ones were the standard, sort of, not sure. I seem to recall something along those lines, but let's see. This is kind of a neat thing. It has, oh, okay, here we are, here we are. This would be one of the iconic ones. Hang on, these are blocking my eyeballs. So we're gonna move those over there. Here we are. Let's get in real close. Yeah, I could kind of see that. So, what Surrenderies was mentioning. Okay, yeah, I think I do remember. We were talking about having a simplified version. Honestly, even this in its super simplified form without all the trimmings would do. A simplified version along these lines being being the standard sign, and then the ones with the cream embroidery or embroidery being our fine items, which could work. These are so cute though. Wow, good job everybody. We did some really cute stuff last Wednesday. They start with a W. It's like the weekend. We have lots of fun. All right, that makes sense. Cool. I'm wondering if I should backtrack and prepare those, or if we should just soldier on ahead and then backtrack with the whole batch. I don't know. Let's go ahead and keep going. So what we have here is the mason's hammer and chisel, and we need to figure out a way to make this super cute and gigantic. That's a good piece of stoneware right there. What am I doing? That's like the slow way. Here we go. Neat. Except I just eliminated all of my colors. We should probably do one of these, actually, now that I think about it. Oh, that's right, it doesn't make the pecker. Wait. Plus? Yes! Okay. It's been a while. Here we go. And what I'm doing right now is I'm just quickly picking out the colors that we've been using in our signs, so I don't have to keep jumping back and forth quite so much. I believe there are only 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if it turns out that we are, well, that's not the one we want. That's very good, but that's not the one we want. If it turns out that we seem to be missing something, we'll double check. I do not think we are. Okay. There we go. So mason's hammer. No, that's the blacksmith's hammer as I'm thinking about. Let's get a reference really fast. No, not that one. Dang it, this one. I wonder if it's in jobs. It might be in jobs. Did you get both shades of Sandy? The spool says Tamora. Yeah, oh, you're right. That's right. Okay, I'll be there in 2 shakes. Mason hammer. Cool. Yes to any of these, except the JSON. That wouldn't give me much of a visual reference. Oh, okay. That's a good hammer. Great. You go over here, where we can kind of sort of see you. And let's grab that shade of sand, the lighter one, because I had forgotten. Oh, that's the difference. See, this one's only got 1 shade of this this purple brown, and the cute little pot only has 1 shade of the sand. Gradually, we'll just continue adding more and more colors until they get so incredibly complex. Alright, so I had envisioned at one point of like doing this thing where the hammer and the chisel cross each other in the front, but I get the feeling with as few pixels as we have to work with here, that's going to wind up kind of steppy look. Excuse me, I've got the hiccups. Kind of steppy looking. My thinking is, why is it being difficult? Why did it just delete my... Oh. Really, Cubicle? Is this how we're gonna kick off our day? Cool. Alright. Let's not do that. I clicked on something funny and got rid of my swatch. But anyway, what I'm thinking is that with it, with as few pixels as we have to work with, it would wind up looking a bit steppy. Yeah, that wouldn't be very clean. I'm pretty sure we would lose our image in the busyness. Okay, and the way we resolved this on the original ascendancy sign, enunciate, was to have these pieces side by side. Though the chisel, I mean, I guess I can accept this as a chisel. We have a little more space to work with, so we might be able to put like one more voxel in the middle there, or it's just gonna get like really huge. Maybe all we need is the hammer. We'll figure it out. So let's not obliterate our swatches this time. So just to quickly kind of flesh in what that might be like. Okay, so already I'm wishing that this piece here wasn't quite so thin. It doesn't feel very mighty. It doesn't feel like it has a lot of weight to it. But we can indeed get a chisel that is 3 parts wide. Also, these are not even, so we have to figure something out about that anyway. Let's see. Surrenderies is saying, maybe make the hammer bigger and have the chisel be noticeably shorter. That's a pretty good idea. Like maybe, well, actually, I think it would get a little too short if we tried to tuck it up under the maul completely. Also, we've got 3 over here and only 2 over here, and that's gonna drive me crazy. I can fix this. Wow, that does not look very good. They look like they're miles apart now. I think it's because of the weight of these shapes. Yeah. Alright. Timur is also saying that we should move the chisel over and make the handle of the maul a little bit wider. Which I completely agree, because it looks super flimsy. But then we run into the awkwardness of everything is gonna start getting larger. We should definitely not try to flesh in the Alright. We don't want to break the border. Or maybe we do. Let's see how it looks within the... it's kind of awkward. It's really awkward. Alright, you know what? We have more space going this ways than we do this ways. So, let's not completely hit delete on that just yet. We can come back to it and keep fussing with it. But again, while we're just kind of quick sketching, let's grab the center of this and turn it on its side. And here would be a fantastic application for layers. But that's okay. Cubicle does get the job done. Alrighty. Let's figure it out from the side with the maul in it, and then we'll work on the hammer. Because the maul has certain details to it. I want to check on... Alright, we did get as close as 1 voxel over here. And it has so much weight on the bottom that you don't really notice that it's not quite balanced. Okay, and 1 voxel over here. So I'm just trying to keep up with our rules for proportion that we've been... You okay, Cubicle? Everything good? I get nervous. Sometimes it'll like freeze up and start chugging, and that's when you know it's about to dump whatever you're working on. Alrighty. So if we want to work a band in here, even if it's just a darker color, we know that these pieces need to be at least 3 voxels. Or maybe not. The chisel looks almost too wide. And Sarandaries has a link for us. Perhaps change the chisel shape to be more like this. Maybe. So, here we have more of a... We shall have to see. When we get into shapes that get curvy like that, they tend to abstract a bit too much, but we shall see. The hammer on top, the chisel on the bottom, the chisel being small could fit in the corner left space of the hammer technically. I think it would start getting rather square. But we can certainly give it a try. Oops, I've gone and made it far too many. Alright, so we do have a bit more to work with, and right now we're just quick sketching. We're just trying to see how we can use the space, and then we'll worry a bit more in detail about... Oops, they're touching. Well, that's a thought, but it's not a good one. So I'm not sure I'm incredibly excited about them being on their side. Seems like it could possibly be appropriate for more of a blacksmith hammer, but I would want to see the anvil instead. Let's see. Oh, Soral92X says, "Hi Stonehearth, did you see my Discourse post with the fixed Weaver Hut template for Raya's children? Didn't know your Discourse name to tag you. I believe my Discourse name is just Allie. But no, I didn't. I will definitely go look for it. Oh, and good morning, Murmuroko. Thank you for joining the stream. And, Demago. Yes, I do know that I have dots. I cannot help it. There are my dots. Alright. Alright, so we've more or less agreed that this is certainly too wide. We can take a bit off the bottom, move it in closer to the middle. I'd love to just grab everything and move it over in one go, but it's not gonna let me. This is okay. I can deal with that placement. We're just gonna do that, even though I really shouldn't at this phase. Bookshield is saying, at Stonehearth, will there be a more biome that has cliffs and less trees? Something like a dwarven mountain biome with many little pillars so you can build a bridge city. I don't think we're planning anything along those lines quite, but it sounds like a cool opportunity to maybe experiment with something like that. I don't know. I know that we are planning on doing, yeah, the chisel looks a little short when we do it like this. I know that for sure we are planning on doing like a cool glacier biome, and the desert biome is also something that will continue to what if crisscross? That's kind of neat. I don't know if it reads. Oh no, don't worry about it, Bookshield. About the grammar, I mean. This is clumsy. Good morning, I left something. There we are. So yeah, that is a thought. But it doesn't really take up the space in a way that's super appealing. Anvil is used actually for a blacksmith. Not sure if you have one already, says Sal Morg. Actually, we do. The anvil is the blacksmith's workbench. They also have a forge. But yeah, they have a cute little anvil. I think the lighter... Oh, yeah, you're right, because that would be the part that is shaved. Longer chisel under the hammer. Wow, why is it doing this? I don't know. There we go. It's not lagging, but for some reason when I pick the colors, it's not having any of it. Let's see. Longer chisel under the... Oh, here's the link for the weaver set. I'll check on that in just a second. Longer chisel under the hammer. I think it might start getting unrecognizable again. Yeah, it really doesn't feel like it's taking up the space. I mean, I guess it is kind of a... That would be the lot that we have with this item because it's got a pretty big handle. Unless we just max out the size of the maul and make the handle like really, really tiny and go for a super cartoony hammer. But that may not be what we want to do. I feel like this idea has potential. But again, these pieces just feel like they're lying around. There's not a lot of activity here. There's nothing that really makes me look at it and go, ooh! But these fill the space so well. Stupid hammer. Why you gotta be like that? If we did make it super big. It's touching the border, so that's probably not what we want. Salmorg is saying, why don't you use an anvil on the tapestry? The anvil would totally be what I would want to use for a blacksmith, but this is for the mason. And Tamora is saying, to make it similar to the rest, you could make the hammer head sandy, which I also agree with that. Maybe it might be too bright. We will see. But at the moment, what I'm just trying to do is see how these shapes look on the space. Honestly, I shouldn't even be playing with the different values in the blues just yet, while we're just trying to figure out what the best configuration for this would be. It'll be more to undo and move around if we start coloring it in right now. But yeah, I'm already like 100% sold on anvil for yeah, I wanted to do either a variation on, like for the engineer, either a variation on the wrench or 2 square gears, because I feel like those are shapes that would work very well in Raya's Children. For the blacksmith, I wanted to use an anvil. For the cook, I actually wanted to take a stab at like a double-handled cooking pot, because I thought that would be very cute, and again, it would take up that space really nicely. Haven't really thought of anything for the herbalist just yet, but that should be a lot of fun. This one has been the one that's been puzzling me though, because we have these two iconic objects, and even within the carpenter sign, I feel like it's just like they feel very isolated. Yeah, it's hard to work with. Yes, shadow image first. Go for silhouette, then for detail. Yeah, it doesn't feel as good without the top and the bottom. It does bother me quite a bit that they're touching here. Also, I just looked at it very quickly and felt that it might look a bit like a signpost. One iconic at a time, indeed. Damago is asking, are there near future plans to put some variation into the grass plains? I wouldn't say like definitively, but we do want to do something about them. It's just, yeah, they're very green, they're very big. Come on now. And there's not a lot going on in the space, so whether that would be introducing some kind of like ground plant that could bubble up here and there, like just some kind of new foliage. Oh, Timur says it looks like a lollipop. No, well, maybe. Hopefully once we get some detail in there, it will look a little less like that. No, there's not enough space to have it underneath. No, also this starts to look a bit more like orange. But anyway, yeah. Ah, yes. Hammer the nail. This is probably not what we want. Oh! Moobot has all the good ideas. Excellent. But yeah, so, like, how we use trees and stones on the ground and things like that, for one. Just, like, how we're populating the areas and introducing variation along those lines, I think, is something that's going to help a lot. But as for just like the great big spaces, yeah, it could definitely use something just to give it a little more life. At the moment, I've been staring pretty hard at the desert though. Well, we could center that like right in the middle and see what happens. Rogue dot. We don't want that. Okay. Oh, good morning, my Lopez. It's hammer time. Or we're struggling to make this hammer time. The hammer and chisel combination, as it turns out, is kind of a bummer. I mean, we could just... Murmuroko is saying, how about sword and hammer? Which, again, that would be another super cool idea for the blacksmith. But right now we're working on the mason. And I don't think the mason makes swords. Do they? Does the mason make sword? I don't think so. I know they make them all. I mean, best case scenario, we would want to use the tools of their trade. I know we don't do that with the potter, but the clay cutting tool would be pretty ambiguous. It wouldn't make for very clear iconic. Oh, Sacrifice 223 says that they have a weird bug that their hearthlings stack items on top of each other, or I'm sorry, or inside each other in the stockpile. Can you put your save somewhere on the discourse, or have you? Drum Original says, at Stonehearth, could you make a small boulder to emphasize the mason? Or is there not enough space? That's a fine idea, actually. At the moment, there's not enough space, but the maul part of the hammer is looking pretty grotesquely overlarge. I think I like that more, though. What if we move the hammer up and try to put a little rock under it? Because at the moment, it looks like that. That doesn't work so well. So let's go ahead and give it some space. I was all proud about centering that. Ooh, now it's an upside down hat. This is precisely what we want. I guess the question would wind up being if it reads like what we're hoping it does. We could also put the boulder to the lower left if we need more space. We could. But then again, we're going to run into the problem of whether or not it's going to wind up reading like a boulder. Because then what we're going to create like it's difficult at that point to say what this is. I like the idea of doing like a tiny rock, but the rock has such an ambiguous shape. I wish we had enough like space in here to like give it like a little crack or something. That would be super cool, but we only have these 4 blocks. We must economize. Maybe if we do something like that. I don't know, what do you guys think? Nathan Jono is saying, is the game nearly done? I remember backing it very long time ago on the Kickstarter. The game is definitely still in progress. So maybe not nearly done, but we are still working on it every single day. Bruno Supremo saying, as you're changing the blocks so much and there's no way to just move them, why not just use Photoshop first, then translate into voxels? I think this is hard to do and undo all the time. I agree with you. Normally we do start actually in Photoshop and it's a lot faster. So why don't we do that? I was hoping we'd save a little time and not do the paint over step, but I believe that is the wise decision. Let's hope the tablet's behaving. Come here, friend. Alrighty. Right. How many did we have here? Oh, we're gonna have to pop out of there. Let's see. That is 16 by 14. 16 wide, 14 tall. Photoshop, where'd you go? Did I just close it? I don't know what just happened. There we go. Excellent. I guess that's exactly what I did. Oh, Oh, Mel Lopez had the suggestion of maybe you could put a small brick wall or some neatly piled stones. If we didn't use the hammer, that would be a good way to take up the space. Good thinking. Alrighty. It's very wee. Can we get a grid? I know we can get a grid. Show grid. Alright, evidently it's not going to let us do that. That's weird. I thought it was supposed to show us... Well, we'll make it work. Why is it... Interesting. Pencil tool. There we go. It still feels pretty gigantic. There we go. Better. Alrighty. So we'll just kind of eyeball our colors. They don't need to be exact right now. That's definitely not right. That's also not right, but again, let's not get too distracted. Oh, Tamor has a point. Can you angle... Okay, Tamor says brick wall might also imply potter, hence making clay bricks. Which is true. I didn't think of that. Ooh, this feels weird. I'm cubicling in Photoshop. What does it even mean? Yeah, if we go for like a pile of stones, even if we get crafty with our, if we get crafty with the way we do our shading, it might still not read very, very well. Certainly not as clearly as a hammer might. So we'll come back to that. Hammer and a nail may feel a bit too much like just the straight up workers, since they're the ones that do that. Oop, that's a little on the slim side there. Yeah, I like the shape of the maul here, but that handle feels really thin. There we go. Yeah, that might imply worker. Though I like the idea a lot. That's really cute. It looks like a gavel, you're right. Alright. None of that. Alright, so we have sideways hammer situation. We talked about having a stone underneath it. It's still just... It's like you look at it and you wonder, what could that be? Oh, wow, that's really light. Interesting. It should not be. Like maybe a little more like that? That's one way to think about it. We were talking about using the sandy color for the hammer itself, and I haven't forgotten about that at all. But for now, we're just keeping it simple. So here's an idea. We could also bump it up one more, so that it doesn't have to touch the bottom. I think it looks pretty good if you make the boulder asymmetric, says Drum Original. And yes, Bonto, this is absolutely for Mason. No, I thought the same thing, Mel Lopez. They're saying, you're right, the bricks are made out of clay. I was thinking like brick-shaped stones. Encryptic says, how about vertical hammer on the left and chisel plus stone on the right? Maybe there's not enough space? And Beer Chug is saying, why not just a small anvil? Again, we're not doing the blacksmith right now. We're doing the mason. This is starting to look like a big poo, so let's make that go away. I want to double this. So yeah, save that anvil. We're gonna be doing an anvil. Just not for mason. Oh, you know what? That's not gonna work. Because how are we gonna know? I know. I know. We're gonna do this. We're gonna get rid of this mustard color. You wanna let me do this? Why is it being really weird? I don't understand what's going on. Sorry about that. I was trying to crop out my edges and it was being difficult. There, that way we can have multiples. Oh wait, that one won't do. Let's just go ahead and turn this into our background layer. There we go. There. Very fun. Alrighty. So we were talking about having the, I mean, we could possibly put the chisel in here, but that might start getting really busy. Once again, you run into the problems like, does that read? What is that? Okay, cool then. We're on the same page for a chunk. Banto says, could also be a stone sculpture. I guess it is hard to fit inside of a small thing. Well, if we made it into something that the mason makes, am I on the wrong layer? I'm on the wrong layer. Rather than the tools of his trade. Oh! No, that might not read either. Poop. I was thinking about like the cool... Never mind. Yeah, it's hard to think of anything like super iconic at the moment. Yeah, I feel like this just gets to be too many things. And I know this is already not going to look right. But I can't help it. Yeah, it looks like a postage stamp. Don't go that way. A chisel inside of... Alright, so it seems like we've got some love for the chisel. I don't know, it just... For some reason, this composition just feels really strange to me. And I'm not even sure what to make of that. That's just kind of a weird small blip. Hello, Tobles the Manly. This shop is for the Mason, and we have, Oh, and yes, Almor, you're absolutely right. The only reason the rock has this kind of shading on it right now is because as something super flat, it didn't read at all. We're working really minimal right now and just trying to find a cool silhouette for our Mason, which is turning out to be tricky on account of it being two little things. And we've already ascertained that we don't want to break the border. And if we go this way, we're also going to have a little less space. This is over a bit too much, but I think we might be doomed. It's gonna have to be because of the size. And if we move that over, that's not terrible. It feels really far away. We can move it closer. Oop. Interesting. Stop that. Oh yeah, sorry about the delay. And thank you for jumping on that. Oh, that's right, it has to be so much smaller this time. Okay. I mean, it's not so much smaller. So this isn't bad. The gargoyle and the stone brazier are rather Mason iconic. I do think about the stone brazier a lot. This is actually not too bad at all, really. You'll have to let me know what you think. I can't quite remember what the stone brazier looks like off the top of my head. I do know that Nathan Jono says that doesn't look like a chisel. No, it really doesn't. We have so few voxels to work with. The right hammer might look like a sign. Oh no! Now that you've said it! Crud. Why are the hammers so difficult? What are we talking about? The stone brazier. Right. Wait. Does that mean something's already open? Yes, it means that's already open. Awesome. Make run. Dun dun dun. That's sure a name. Amazing Hills. Ooh, Amazing Hills. That dude's hungry. We need. Banto says, I think the hammer with an angle hitting the chisel in the stone would be cool, but not sure if you use a chisel that way. More or less, but I think the bigger problem is we're not gonna have enough space. Friendship. Is this the town where we... Yeah, this poor man up here. Get down. Cool, so really quick, let's just go ahead and drop off. Oh, there we go. Workbench, there we are. Pop. What do we got? That's the cutter. It would be so cool if we could do it isometric like this. That's so pretty. I like that angle. Yeah, I would have to say that's pretty iconic. I really do wish we could have it like this though. That's so cool. Yeah, Drum Original says, I don't think it's not possible to make a good chisel with the space you are working with. And Tobles is saying that the mason's hammer isn't completely flat though. It has an extended top or bottom, doesn't it? And you're right. That's why it's got like this guy here. But yeah, I think we're gonna kind of wind up with an oddity if we keep going this way. We could put the stone next to it. Though whether it reads like a stone, again, is our forever problem. Does that look like a stone? You could always make it look like a fork with the spokes filled in. Maybe get the shadow representation. So that's not awful. It's kind of cute. And we wanted to try something with the super cool brazier. Not brazier. That's something else. The mason is taking up a different profession all of a sudden. I guess the only issue that I have with something like this would be if you know this shape from playing Stonehearth, it will be obvious what it is. But let's say you're new and you haven't made one of these before. You might be confused when you see it. It's difficult to get a read on what's the center in any of these. And again, it looks like we're gonna run out of... Ooh, it's like a little weird alien dude. Hi. Oh, it was referring to the chisel's shadow. Oh no! I'm sorry, I've ruined it. This thing is going to be impossible to center. And it does look like some kind of a weird alien situation. Bonto says, I kind of like the left side more, but maybe with the right side stone. Yeah. As Sharp Chris is saying, it's important that it'll be intuitive. It's an icon, it should read iconic. Alright, well, we're gonna run into... I don't know if I like them touching like this. Smiling bunny. Yeah, smiling weird alien bunny. Take me to your leader. Oh, this got weird. I mean, while we're here. Hello! One eye is bigger than the other. It's insane! Yeah, this doesn't work. Okay, I'm a little bit... I do like the left one for sure. I like it because we get a bit more length on the hammer. Move the rock to the bottom left. If we move the rock to the bottom left, though... Oh! Oh, look what I did! I knew I would. Everything's on the same layer, and I'm a fool. Hang on a minute. Let's do this. That way we don't completely mess everything up. There we are. Is this what we meant? Because I'm not sure that's doing it. Bonto is asking, you want to save 1 pixel at the borders. It would be nice if we could. We did have, I don't think we nuked it, but when we were trying the crisscross idea here, we had them touching the top and the bottom, and it feels kind of tight, especially because these other shapes, which are super huge and square, fill the space and float within the space. It doesn't have that, like, weird point of tension where it's hitting the border. Sharp Chris is saying, is this supposed to be the mason icon, or just the sign for the build accessory? It's just supposed to be the mason's icon. Yeah, and also this one isn't centered. Oh, and we are not on the right layer. And it's going to be impossible to center unless we move the rock a little bit. Of course, because that is what it means to work with pixels. You thought you had it centered, it says. You were wrong. It looks so weird. Maybe the top sign will look a lot better making the stone in stone color. Sharpcris is saying that I skipped the stone entirely and put a hammer and chisel. We've been trying that, but it's difficult to make a convincing looking chisel. Like, the chisel on the old sign is this guy here. I believe that... Yeah, I don't even think we have a chisel in game. Starting to get... There we go. If I... Looking at the Google... Yeah, the shape that we're going to wind up with is going to be very, very simple. Because we simply don't have a lot of voxels. I guess yeah. So over here you can see we've got a variety of different shapes. Most of them have some kind of a handle dealy, but when you think about it, we really only have 2 voxels, or maybe 3, depending on how we work on it, to work with in width. So it's more likely that it's just going to wind up being a straight shot with something something slanted at the bottom. Oh, hey, this looks like a railroad spike. I will say, and as far as the Stonehearth aesthetic goes, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Simplified does tend to work better. Surrender is saying, wait, it's the potter's chisel and the mason's hammer. Well, the potter actually has a cutter, which is for cutting clay. The chisel could be colored and then it looked more convincing. Or is it supposed to be gray and black? It's likely just going to wind up being gray and black. So we have kind of this neutral color. And then we use this sandy tone as an accent. And we don't want to see how many we can wind up using. We're trying not to go fully representational. These are supposed to just be icons. Oh, we don't need this. Thank you. But yeah, as far as it goes, we just don't really have a lot of space to work with when it comes to how we're using the how we're representing a chisel. Oh, I just made the rock wider. Now it's fixed. Oop, now they're touching. That's not allowed. There we go. Surrenders is saying, ironically, chisel would be the potter, hammer the mason, and possibly anvil for the smith. You're right, but for the potter we used a pot because it's cute and a lot more direct. Yeah, so I don't know, this could work, but it doesn't necessarily read as what it's supposed to be. There's just not enough space. So we either have to go with something like super ambiguous, or we could always stick with the rock. The rock is not the worst way to go. Yeah, this one I feel like so far is activating the space the best. We don't have to worry about anybody wondering what in the world is this. Ooh, big pixelated question mark. Because again, what we're hoping for is that if you're not familiar with these things, you can more or less guess by the look of the icon who you're dealing with. I like the length of the handle on this one, but this rock feels kind of weak. Then again, the shape also makes it feel a little bit like it's being smacked on the top. But if I had to pick from any of these concepts so far, including the crisscrossy dude that we came up with originally, even though it's doing the touchy thing, I would have to say this one is probably the strongest. Or Zombie Bunny. I mean, nothing says Mason Shop like Zombie Bunny. Yeah. Tobles is saying, the chisel in-game is 3 voxels up top, and then in the middle goes down about 5. Drum Original is saying, something like this maybe? You can make the boulder wide, but I would not change the height of the right side of the boulder. It's a thought. But I still don't know if I like the boulder under the hammer, because with the angle of the hammer, I feel like it's supposed to be hitting something. It's easier for me when they're both upright to imagine that they're either laying on the ground or just standing up because it's a graphic. But when they're like this, I feel like we're implying some kind of action, and it confuses me that the rock is under the handle, if that makes any sense. I do like the way it's filling the space, though. But this is cool. Thanks for mocking it up. Oop, I made a doot. Okay, so let's see here. Overall, the top right icon gives me the more intuitive vibe, so that's this guy over here. Tamor says that they still like the first two, the crossing one and the top left. So this one here and this dude with the crossing hammer and chisel. Wonder if we can do like this. We can't. But the top left is representative enough. Top right would be my vote. But maybe with a little of the corner cleared out because they feel close. You might have to specify which corner. You just copy and paste it in Photoshop. Yeah, but it's still nice to actually have, like, I always think it's very thoughtful when things are followed up with a visual of some kind. But it might just be because I'm very visual. So yeah, I honestly think it's a call between these two. I don't know. This is fun because it's like, oh, it's hitting the stone, but then this is also cool because it's filling the space better. When I look at it with the spool and the pot, I do think this one works better within the family just because it's chunkier. This one feels a little bit too delicate and small. So the center of the tile where the hammerhead meets the handle says Wraithen next to the rock. Things are a bit tight there. It is, but if we space it out, we're gonna start running into the corner. Also, that's what we get if we put another space in the middle. So we can have big rock or wee rock. I don't know. Actually, I think both could go either way. Drum Original, this should translate pretty directly, actually. This is done in the same scale. Yeah, again, top left also has a ton of negative space. It doesn't fill the spaces nicely. Do you guys think wide rock or not wide rock? And I'm going to start mocking that up. Okay. Let's get rid of that. We don't have to ditch that completely, but we do want to copy it and get the original out of the way. Sarandaries likes thin rock? Not wide rock. So like this. Depends on if it will blur together when in the game, says Tamor. Oh, Mel liked it wide. Well, we'll take a look at it with the other icons. Assuming Cubicle is going to quit being... Rathan says, first time watching the stream, but playing Stonehearth and reading your notes are a huge reason why I started writing my own game. That's awesome! Rathan says, that's my worry, that they'll blur if you zoom out too far if they are too close. That's a good point. And chances are they probably will to a degree. We haven't incorporated our other values yet, so there is that. And maybe that will help ease things up just a little bit. I'm probably a bigger fan of it when it's chunkier because it's Stonehearth and everything just kind of works better when it's chunky. Let's see, that's 2 in, 2 in, 2 over, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, wait, 3, 5, 8, 3, 8, there we go. No. Yeah. 3 in, 2 up top, 3 in the middle. And goes down to 1. It's harder to gauge. I think it's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is 5. That's strange. How did we wind up with an extra pixel down here? Oh well, we'll figure it out. I don't think we did. $17 by 15. It added an extra pixel. Bummer. Well, we're gonna have to wrangle it anyway. That just figures, right? Yeah, no, I know, but we have a problem. So the dimensions of this thing, I thought we set this at 16 by 14, but for some reason the one in Photoshop is 17 by 15. So we had more space to work with in here all along. I do believe we set that correctly. I don't understand how that wound up being the case. That seems like shenanigans to me. I'm getting ready to just export this thing. Yeah, this should totally be. This is 16 by 14 pixels. There's no way that these won't translate. That's it. You've gone and done it. By 14. Yeah, this should totally fit. Not buying it. Building templates, tier 2, data. This is not where we want to be at all. We want to be art streams. Workshop tapestry. Interesting. We want. I think we need a ping. Try that. Unmerge all those. Gotcha. Yeah. This should absolutely fit. Cool. And that's just how we're gonna do it. Except Cubicle is being fantastically cooperative all the time. Alright, pretend these colors are exactly where they need to be for just a moment. Alright, neat. So, let's start working on this. The head, you accidentally added the extra row. You are probably right. It was difficult to count. So, what are we thinking here? Do we want to try the head of the mall? Oh, I didn't add the lighter band into the background. We can try... Oh, that looks really bright. Oh, you know what? We have way too much contrast going on. So this is 4 down. Cool. Yeah, I definitely don't like it right like that. We'll have to keep messing with that. Alright, that's too loud. This is still probably too loud. It's got a weird 3D thing going on because it's right in front of it. That's exciting. Kind of wondering about those bright strips. I'm not sure that they're appropriate. It seems to me that that feels like it has more depth. We could also use the color from the tapestry. Bookshield is also talking about if we change the rock to look lighter and the hammer to look darker. And Ildred is saying, are the colors limited to just those 8? I would say so. We don't want to see how many colors we can start adding. I mean, we could technically just go in and add another darker tan, but I feel like we're starting to, like, really get into it with all these different colors. Also, I think that these guys are going to be a bit too distant. That's weird, I thought I grabbed something that I hadn't. I feel like these guys are going to be just a bit too distant. Not distant, too close in value to the background pinks. Yeah. This doesn't have enough of the contrast anymore. So something's got to give. And I feel like the lighter tan works better when it has some kind of framing element in the contrasted material. Brown rock and brown bands look clean. What about going back to the other signs and replacing the bright tan with the darker tan you just made? The only other sign with the bright tan is this one. It's an option. I actually really like the look of it, but you guys will have to let me know. Ooh, that's messing with my eyes. The light color? Well, we could try that. So Drum Original was talking about a version of this where the boulder had the lighter color, and the hammer had the darker color. Yeah. I agree. Good eye, Mally. So let's give that a whirl. So that's not so bad. I feel like I want to see it with the other one. The sign is indeed 14 by 16. No, we wanted this one. Thank you, Cubicle. That's great. No, I think I do like the one with the darker hammer, but I am worried that the rock is so close in value to the background that it's going to get lost. Is this even the same? That feels weird. That's why. Wasn't even the same value. Alright, so it shouldn't get lost anymore. Alright, I'm just trying to make sure, because for some reason Cubicle is being really finicky about the color picker right now. So it turned out that my lightest light was not the color I thought it was. You see, I just had to like click 100 times to get it to actually fill it. Alright, that actually works a lot better. So for some reason it had these really dull muddy colors picked out, which are not at all the colors we've been using. Hey TPC Turtle Squish. So going along those lines, yeah. So these actually stand out from the background a lot better. Let's try that. Why Cubicle? That's ridiculous. Please select the color. There we go. Alright, so that's what values they should be. Sorry about that. I didn't notice that it had done that. Let's see. Rathan says, I feel like the hammer band's handle wash out with the hammer head a bit. Less important on the pottery next to it, since it is decorative, but the hammer is functional. Alright, I'll just call you Turtle Squish then. Tamora's saying, what if both the hammerhead and the rock are the same color set? I think it would get over bright. It would also call out the hammer's handle really, really, really much. So you'll notice in all of these that, like, there's a good balance with it. If we do this, oops, not that. If we do this, it gets really bright. We don't have enough of that positive space anymore. Drum Original is saying, could you change out the handle with the hammerhead color so the handle is lighter and the head is darker? We could. Let's give that a shot. Nope, not tan. That's kind of cool. Uh-oh, I'm gonna sneeze. Nope, scared it off. It's time for the Wednesday stab. No, it's a stream. So yeah, this isn't so bad. I feel like having the darker contrast on the head of the hammer actually balances out the brightness of the stone. And who commented about it? About Tanrock being... What if? I don't know, I feel like... And that is also an option. Because then you have the brightest color calling out the hammer. So this is definitely an option. Let's get rid of this. Yeah, Tanrock Dark Hammer so far kind of has my vote as well. Let's look at it in the frame. Let's go ahead and set up the other one again really fast. those the weird desaturated colors again? No. I'm all weirded out after that. Yeah. I don't know. I really like it with the dark head and the tan rock. I think that's super cool. I mean, I think they're both pretty cool, but it's like something about this is just, it's throwing me off. Whereas I feel like this has a good relationship. Let's try like that. Wait, that's right behind it. Yeah, I actually don't mind that. That's kind of cool. Alrighty. Man, Mason wound up being a lot tougher than it should have. Let's see then. But I think we can live with that. Oh, these are nice. Relish just popped these up. So these aren't too bad at all. I don't know. Do we want to try again for the chisel, or are we like in the rock? Because these are... Oh, this might start to look a bit like a nail again. But yeah, these are really cool. So if we tried that... Let's see. Why is Cubicle being so derpy? Let's see. That's what I'm thinking. They look really cool. Let's see. Actually, this way, if we wanted to, we could go back and do... Oh wait, that's that weird bright one again. Oh, why is it doing this? Come on. I don't know why it's not picking the color. Come on. There you are. Oh, yeah. See you later, Turtle Squish. These are messing with my eyeballs. Alright. So we are incorporating Relis's design. And we have our rock design as well. This one definitely fills the space better. So, what are our thoughts? There's also the one with the... little trowel guy on the bottom. I don't know if I like that one as much. Sarandaries votes the rock. I don't know. I like it because these incorporate the tools really well, and they're super pretty. But I do like the rock. I don't know. So you guys should definitely let us know what you think. And thanks again, these are super cool Relis. Let's move those back over. Still don't know if I like the hammerhead being bright like that though. There's just something about it that's just like really... Drum Original says also the rock. I guess we do run back into the problem of the chisel just not really feeling very chisel-y. I do start to think that no matter which way we do it, just because of the amount of space we have, it is always going to be very much like just a super simplified chisel. I mean, it's going to just be an icon of it. So we're not going to get a literal translation no matter what we do. Hi there, Mokun. Welcome to the stream. My vote is on Geodude, says Vigonda's the unicorn. Geodude. Punch Rock. Oh, why am I doing that? I don't need to preserve the... That's kind of, yeah, that's kind of the point that I'm also saying. So what Rathan is saying is chisels in real life would be thinner than the hammer's handle, but this doesn't have to be a reflection of real life, which it's not going to be. This is cute Stonehearth stuff. So basically what we're just trying to do is like have the correct icons on the thing that read the best. So it's like hammer and chisel. Are they the exact right size? Is that important? I mean, again, they're hearthlings. Where be... Oh, hi Zombie Bunny. It might be time for you to die. Tobles is saying, is this too cluttered for the style we're going for? Yeah, this is gonna be a bit busy. So this is beautiful, by the way. Like, all of these are super beautiful. Holy cow, guys. Thank you for taking the time to mock these up. But I feel like I mean, again, we talked about this. When you zoom out, things are going to blur together. That's easy, but it's like we've got a lot of contrast and a lot of busyness going on here, and a lot of things pointing our eye in a lot of different directions. And we need something that's just going to read kind of quick. I love this hammer, though. This is so pretty. Don't re-kill Zombie Bunny. Right. So how about that anvil? While we're deliberating on what has turned out to be an incredibly tedious object. But I guess the anvil is not going to treat us any nicer. First of all, there be anvils. Anvils are here. Mokun says, can you technically kill a zombie? It's already dead. I try not to think about zombies very much at all, in fact. They bother me intensely. Not cool with zombies. Well, this one's already looking a bit like a mess. Rathan says, so I'm not an artist, but is there a reason you don't use the same color palette in Photoshop as your Cube World editor thing? Actually, it's because at the moment, that's not really as important. So the very first thing we try to figure out is the silhouette. We can edit the colors and everything until we're blue in the face, but if the silhouette and the way it fills the space doesn't work to begin with, we're just setting ourselves up for a lot of back work, so it doesn't really matter at the moment. Also, it's very easy to just export one of these guys and drag it into Cubicle, where we can select everything by the color entirely and just dump whatever color we want it to be in place. So that part's really quick. Trying to keep it kind of chubby and cute. Let's see here. That might be a bit too complicated for what we want. I think we would need our lighter color to be those if we wanted those. Oh, now it's too wide. What about having a metal bar above the anvil? That's kind of a cool idea. I wonder if it'll read though. Like an ingot? Yeah, because we have a whole 3 blocks to use, so it has to touch. Or be like 2. And that doesn't really look like anything at the moment. Okay, we don't want that coming to a 1 voxel point because it'll just be too stabby. We want it to be kind of cute. We could always make the end chunkier, and that doesn't feel as good. Wait, go back. It was cuter. Would be giving the top a darker color and keeping the rest, the top of the anvil, is tempered. Very good point. Oop, well that doesn't have the right shape anymore. I feel like if we... Maybe? I don't know. Like, I feel like this maybe... Let's cut the 2 little dots. That may not be necessary. That just looks like it's wearing pants, which is an exciting idea, but maybe not what we want today. That's pretty good. So Relis is saying we can try to start with the shape of the existing blacksmith sign and then adapting to the available space in the tapestry. So we can call it up, see what we've got. That is not at all what I wanted. This is what I get for just clicking. Mods. No, not crops. Goodness. Decoration. That's weird. Wooden sign, blacksmith. There we are. What do we got? Well, it's kind of in the same boat. But I like that it's chunky at the top. Let's just go ahead and open that up. I don't know, this feels a bit more anvil at the moment. I do like closing it off, that makes it feel stronger. We can push this backwards, but I feel like we start to lose it. Also, without some kind of delineation for the front part of it, that also feels like it's a little difficult to read. All it needs now is an eye and its weird bird head. Okay. It's actually pretty good. Does that feel pretty anvil-y? Yeah. I don't know, I feel like after everything we went through with the mason just now, for some reason, I feel like this should be harder. Stupid chisel. Oh, I wanted to give it little doots, but it's... Oh, that's because I clicked on cubicles. Right. That's here. Here we are. Probably gonna be too bright. Also, you wouldn't really see the... Then again, that's more realism than we need to worry about. I was just momentarily wondering... Boop. Well, that's starting to get a little bit more representational than we need to. The carpenter will give us trouble again. The carpenter doesn't even have a house yet. Cool. Yeah, it feels like an anvil. Wow, good job, guys. Go team. There we go. Beesmiths. That's gonna be gigantic, so let's go ahead and crop her down. Ooh. Just being all weird. Come on. That should do it. Oops. Yeah, looking again, I think I'm leaning towards the rock. Wait, that's not what we want. Never. Import. To the left. And up. Now we need... Wait, they're light in the middle, right? Or are they light on the top? They're light on the tops. Of course. I'm gonna forget that 100 times before we're done here. There we go. Cool. That looks like an anvil to me. Any thoughts? Very anvil-y. Yeah, let's keep the rock. Put that back there for later. Excellent. Alrighty. Who else? We're talking about doing a cooking pot for the cook. Something with 2 handles on the sides. That seems like it's going to be very simple. I guess we could put it right in the middle. I didn't think about that. Here's a quick way to do that. Though having it, like, in the bottom is kind of cool, because it makes it feel heavy. There we go. So there it is centered. Or did we like it sitting on the bottom? I think it could go both ways, honestly. For the rest, I'm out of suggestions today, I guess. No, that's okay. I think we ran through it pretty hard with the mason there. Alrighty. Excuse me. Centered fits the theme. Good enough for me. Yang likes it centered. Yang has spoken. Things not being centered is the bane of my existence. We did once spend an entire stream trying to center a latticed window. So, we take centering very serious here at Team Stonehearth. Come on. Oh, right. There's like 4 whole pixels in here. Alright. A good old-fashioned witch pot. A clap of thunder. Yang has spoken! I mean, we could have, like, a soup pot with a handle sticking out. Doot! And that's kind of cute. But I'm thinking something big with the 2 handles on either side would be super good, and it would fill the space really nicely. Also, depending on how we do it, maybe we can do, like, an indication of, like, fire underneath, but I think we're going to be too limited on our space in order to make that a reality. It's like, I'm just thinking about that. Let's see. Doot. That might look a little strange. We're within our 1 pixel limit there. Don't have to go so literal on the handles. Could also put the handle in the middle, but having the little arms sticking out on either side seems like it would be really cute. Yeah. Steam coming out of the top would probably be a lot better. Oh, come on. Doot-doot-doot-doot. Maybe tuck it in the bottom just a little. It's a cooking pot. Sorry, we can paint another version that's got the fire in it, but the steam is kind of cute. I was hoping we could get like the little screws in the handle, but I don't think it's reading very well. Fire! You need to turn down the heat. We had misadventures the last time we had a cooking party. My friends have a huge cast iron pot that does not heat up consistently. Or it's probably just their burner. And anyway, it goes from very, very quiet and not ready to cook to throwing grease everywhere, taking your life into your hands, fire and sadness. Anyway, we were frying potatoes and they came out very good. Cool. So that's kind of fun. The cookpots in the game is stone. You mean we can't have cute handles? Now it just looks like a cup. It may not... Okay. Fine. We don't need screws. It's made of stone! Yang has spoken. Cool. Alright, let's do that. Wait. Did that work? No, it didn't work. Because it's all goofy. Has handles. Will travel. It's much easier to travel with handles. I'm lost again. So many things. Here we go. Oh, hi, Zanzibar42. Actually, these streams normally start... Oh, shoot, we're about at our limit, actually. They normally start around 2 hours ago. I did just save that, right? That's a hammer. That sure is. Hammer. It's okay. It's alright. Thank you. Bye. Good. Good job. Excellent work. Alright. Let's get rid of that anvil. Import. Alright. I think that's good. Interestingly, I don't think I minded touching the top of the tapestry with the steam. There's something about it that seems to work. Sneak in another sign before your time is out. I don't know. So far I don't want to jinx it, but we're really flying with these now that we're through with our mason. Oops. There we go. And we said that we were lighter on the top and bottom and darker in the middle. Oops, I missed one. There we go. Oh gosh, you got rid of it. For why? Man, Cubicle is all kinds of sassy today. It's not letting me pick my colors. I just want to make the steam pretty. Finally done with the Stone Age. No, the Mason was hard. That one was a really tough one. Alright, so actually really quick, did we like the steam better when it was the darker shade? We can also mix it up a little, I guess. Assuming Cubicle is going to behave and actually let us do that. Alternating colored steam. We could do it. It's kind of cool. Oh no, that gives it volume. Volume is weird. That's not so bad. I don't know. I think it should probably be just one. Yeah. Bright steam for sure. Cool. Alright, it is 10:30. We have knocked out 3 more signs. Apologies for having spent so very long, and thank you everybody who came together to help make our Mason sign a possibility. That was really quite the battle. So, right, we are 5 signs in, and who do we have left? We have, okay, Cook's done. Engineer, Herbalist is actually one, so in preparation for the next stream, I almost said Steam, we should probably think about what it is that would make a good herbalist sign. Off the top of my head, I think like mortar and pestle. But having that translate into a tiny 14 by 16 icon may or may not work so well. So we'll think of something. Oh, good heavens, you did that. No, no, no. No, no, no. And let's see. We've got engineer, and I was thinking that we could do a pair of gears to see how that works. If all else fails, though, we'll revert to the good old wrench. But I think the gears would be really cool. Moobot is super excited about Stonehearth being available on Steam Early Access. Yeah, mortar and pestle, bandages, potions, or plants. I like things that imply like the rustic side of healing medicine, of like grinding up herbs and things, because I feel like that's very Stonehearthy. So a mortar and pestle, yeah, those are right along the right ideas. I mean, we could always default to the good old-fashioned first aid cross, but I mean, we're spending all the rest of the time making these hyper cute and custom. We may as well go nuts. And I guess at some point we do need to contend with a carpenter. But we will save that for next week. And I'll see you guys then. Thanks again for all of your help, for all of your feedback and your mock-ups and pictures. That really helped us a ton when we were stuck. We're now at 5 signs. Can't wait to see what we bang out next week. And have a great rest of your day wherever you may be. Thanks so much.